Hi, this is Erica Merrill, and I'm the founder of Perfect Legal Video. I'm very excited to have with us today Attorney Nicole Reeves Lavallee. She owns a family and real estate law firm in the Worcester area, and she is incredible at what she does. She and her team have fantastic strategies, and they have helped plenty of clients, hundreds and hundreds of clients. I don't know. You'd have to tell me the number, Nicole. But welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me. And I'd have to say it's at least a couple thousand.
I bet it is. Because you've been in business for, you've been an attorney for 20 years?
23 years,
Okay.
and I've been running Reeves Lavallee since 2008.
Aha. It's like one of those things when people guess your age, it's always better to guess a little younger. Just kidding with you. Well, today we're going to talk about something interesting. We're going to talk about what people can expect from your law firm when working with you and your team. And, a lot of people don't realize what the real rules are. And I assume that a lot of these rules are the same at other law firms. But, if you watch TV, a lot of these rules don't seem to be in play. So we're going to bust some myths, which is one of my favorite things to do on this show. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about telephone calls. So, how do we work with telephone calls? Obviously, we can call the office. Everyone's got cell phones now. Can people just text you when they have a problem or a fight with their ex?
So you can absolutely text into our office, but it's going to go to your web portal. And we're going to be able to look at that. So everybody assigned to your case is going to be able to look at that, give you some feedback, respond to you in a timely manner. Is it going to go to our personal cell phones? No. We as attorneys need to have time alone for our families as well. So the policy of this office is that our cell phones will not be given out. The only time that it would be given out was absent an emergency where we're on the way to court and unfortunately we can't get a hold of you. That might be an issue. But our office does have the capability, and the policy is that we are going to call you from our office line using our personal cell phone. So again, we'd love for you to respect our privacy when we are not working on your case.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you work so many hours anyway. It's nice to be able to go home at 8 o'clock at night or whatever it is and be like, okay, it's time for me to eat my dinner and watch a show. That's how I feel.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to remember that we have families, that we are trying to make our families work same way you are helping your families and trying to get your family to work. So we would certainly ask you to respect ourselves.
And there is a very high divorce rate amongst attorneys, I think. And it's because of that work ethic. So the fact that you are putting in a work-life balance for you and everyone on your team really speaks volumes to you're walking the walk.
It does. And the reality is, I will probably still respond to you on the weekend, and I will probably still respond to you on the night or if something is going on. But it also is on my time frame, not necessarily on yours.
Yeah, you don't want to be interrupted all the time. And I know that you've answered me at times when I didn't expect it. So what I'll typically do is I will write the email with all the details and just say, like whenever you get back to me, you get back to me. I want to put this down now while I have all the details fresh in my mind. And then you do typically get back within 24 hours, no matter when it is.
That's my ideal goal.
So, what about personal equipment? You were saying that they can use their cell phones to call through the office line. Is that a special technology that you have working?
Correct. So our phones are all set up right now. They're set up through Zoom. So we can log into our Zoom account and I can call you using our phone number here at the office.
Wow, that's really cool. I didn't know about that. So let's talk about This is so common on TV. Romantic relationships with the client. Oh, it's so exciting. And you're running a family law firm, so a lot of these people are going to be single, looking to mingle. I, can they date your staff?
Absolutely not. One, it's prohibited by our rules of ethics. As a current client of ours, we are not allowed to engage in any kind of dating relationship with clients. Obviously, once that relationship is ended, I can't preclude you from having a relationship with one of my staff members, but certainly I wouldn't encourage that. While I know that we are a good source and we really bond with clients, it's never a good mix.
That's kind of interesting. I knew a family attorney that used to have singles mingles events, and they were just for her clients. She wasn't trying to, have people date her staff, but it was just an interesting. There were a lot of bitter people at that event. That's all I want to say.
I've definitely heard of those, and the reality is I've had clients marry other clients of mine. And those are great until they don't last. Then again, from my perspective, I'm going to be precluded from representing both of them. So our only avenue would be to help them, would be a mediation.
Oh, wow, that's interesting to know. Now, what if your client lost the car to their soon to be divorced spouse? They stole it, they have no ride. Do you guys, you're all going in the same direction, maybe you're all live near the office. Can they catch a ride with you?
No. Um, Simple answer, short and sweet, but that's the answer. The reality is, while we live in a society where we hope and as a profession we assume that everyone is going to be professional, I'm not going to put any of my attorneys in that position where somebody may make improper allegations. So we're not going to put you in that situation. It also makes for an uncomfortable ride, especially if the judge makes a ruling on the bench and it's not in your favor. Again, I'd rather not have my attorney distracted driving you home. So the policy is we're not going to allow that.
Mm. And that makes a lot of sense. And people are often very upset on the way home from court. And usually it's both sides if they do it right. Is that right?
It's true, but a lot of times the judge does take things under advisement, but certainly if the judge does make a ruling, yes, if the judge is doing their job, chances are both parties are unhappy about something.
The last question I have surrounds social media. So I just got remarried, and you did my prenup, so thank you very much. Um, and my husband i- is on social media, but he does not like, not even my posts. He will not like, share, comment anyone's post. He does have a picture of us now. However, he used to have just a close-up picture of his shirt fabric. I mean, that was his profile picture. That's how little he likes social media. So tell me a little bit about your social media policy. Are they allowed to friend you and your clients? And maybe not intending to date anyone, but just to friend you and find out what you're doing in your personal life?
No, because again, the whole point is it's a personal boundary. I can respect you. You can ask me questions. I've answered many questions. Do you have children? How old are they? What are they doing in school? All sorts of questions that clients will ask me. I'll be happy to answer those. But again, I don't think that we need to have that relationship where you're knowing exactly what I'm doing, nor is it that I think that I should have that relationship with you and know what's happening. Now, I think the only caveat from this is if I was representing the child, at sometimes I had to be on the social media because I had to see what the child was doing, and we actually put it in place. But short of something like that, again, we need to have those boundaries. I'm going to encourage you as my client to make sure you get all those postings, but all those postings are of your ex, not of me, and not of my firm. I would, however, encourage you in any social media platform to like any of Reeves Lavallee's social media.
Right, because you guys have very helpful hints and information on there, including these interviews, links to these interviews, at least. I know because my firm helps work on those. So it's a great source of information, and you might get some great ideas that you may need to forward on to a friend or use yourself.
Absolutely. And that's what they're there for. But again, it's more of an education source rather than, hey, let's become best friends.
Well, geez, you just told me that you have thousands of cases over the years. You don't have time for that many friends. Life is so busy.
I would never have a work life balance then.
Yeah, exactly. Although I will say and encourage anyone who has a problem, a family law related problem or a real estate deal that they are working on or an issue, to give them a call, because Reeves Valley has fantastic strategies, as I mentioned before. And what I really like the best is just how you give it to us straight. And it's not mean, but it's straightforward, and you tell us, well, if we do this, this would happen. If we do this, this would happen. And you have some options then, and you know what the consequences to some of the options are. And that is, knowledge is power, and that's what you get with Reeves Valley. So definitely give them a call if you have questions relating to the law that they work on.
Thank you. And I think the big thing there is, again, my job is to educate, your job is to make that decision. All too often, clients go, well, what do you think? Well, I think if you want this goal, then you have to do this. But if you want this goal, then you have to do that. And it's really hard for me to say because I'm not living in your shoes and I'm not going to have to live that life. So again, it's always a difficult situation when clients say, well, what do you think? My job is to give you the pros and cons. Unfortunately, your job is to make that hard decision.
Well, that's true, but you do always tell us what you think, usually. I mean, you tell me. I do the same thing with my vet. What if this were your dog? What would you do? And then, they tell you and you make the decision. And just like a vet, it's very much a cost thing. You can actually say, well, if you want to go after this particular part of your case and you want to make a change in this area, it's probably going to cost you between 50,000 to 100. But if you just want to do a compromise, it's going to save you a lot of money, and it's just whether you can live with that compromise or not. Because as we've said many times on this show, people have spent tens of thousands of dollars on stupid things like who gets the lawnmower, or this really things that would cost you a lot less to just go buy a new one, or make another choice. And it's really like you say, well, if you want to pay me for this, that's fine.
Yes, I say that all the time. Principal is very costly. So just, think about that before you start doing it. And, that's what people don't understand is, I am charging you for my time. So unfortunately, think people want to be my best friend. And I get that. And I genuinely care about all of my clients. But at the same token, it's sometimes a lot cheaper to have a therapist or have a friend to talk to rather than your attorney. Because again, my job is to listen and write things down and take notes and see how it's going to help you. But sometimes it's just me listening, going, okay. And you're not asking me for help, you're venting. And that's not going to be beneficial to your case.
It's true. And that's actually one thing that we really didn't mention on here, that we talked about phone calls and what to expect, but also the phone calls to the office actually cost money, and emails and faxing and like everything that you do for the case, including phone calls, reviewing emails and documents and anything that you're going to send over, that's billable.
It is. And that's where it gets very costly. So, again, what we're trying to do by setting all these boundaries is so that we're not having that relationship where you feel compelled, I guess, if you will, to go, hey, Nicole's my best friend. Time and place for Nicole to be your best friend. But the reality is, right now, I'm your attorney. And if you go beyond that, then again, you're going to be shocked when you get a bill from me and go, well, we were talking about something else totally unrelated. Why do you charge me? Because it was during business hours and you're calling my office number. So again, if we're setting those boundaries now and you understand that you're going to be charged for it and we don't have that relationship, that's the ideal goal of why we're doing it, to protect you.
And I think that's a great lesson because that's how it is in all of the law firms. They just can't afford that. So, thank you so much for updating us on this. This is actually going to save many of our shows, really help people save money. And this is one of the ways, learning how to communicate with your law firm. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. Thank you so much for watching. And thanks so much, Nicole, for being on the show again. We really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you soon.